Hello and welcome back to the UKCSGO. Still don't have a name for it. The Cup, the Wednesday
Benchmark
Cup.
tournament.
You know the Wednesday Cup.
Yeah.
Pre-I Series Wednesday Cup. Sorry for the delay. We've had a couple of issues on the technical side of things. Hopefully that's all sorted out now, and we are going to be getting into the second game streamed, obviously, of the night, which is going to be Function versus IGI.
I think it's going to be a good game. It's on Cash, which is Joe's pretty much favourite map. It's one of his best when he's AWPing. He's pretty much on fire on this map. If he can get going, IGI are gonna be in the driving seat.
Realistically, I think both teams are fairly strong on this map, from what I'm aware of. Function, I'm not so sure. I know one of their teams at one point, it was said to be their favourite map, but yeah, their org's a little bit confusing because there were about 4 teams at one time. IGI, on the other hand, I know it's a map that they can perform very, very well on indeed. At any rate, though, this should be a lot more interesting than the last one we watched because these teams are relatively evenly matched. So we shouldn't be seeing any sort of single-digit scorelines unless something strange happens, you know?
Yeah.
I'm at least a little bit excited for that. Either way, just gonna be waiting for
them to ready.
Yeah, waiting for them to sort themselves out. Not quite sure what's going on here. Oh, it's Function. Just wanting to take their time.
Okay, going into it now. And we're in.
Indeed we are, and we're actually going to see a vaguely interesting pistol round buy come out of IGI already. I think I saw maybe, yeah, only two sets of armor. Only 2 sets of armor. Raid boss on Waddy. The rest just going for heavy utility across the board. Not sure what they're going to be doing with that, but it should be something fun to watch.
Gonna be B.
Problem is they've already lost a player, so they have to be very careful from this point on. YTF in the perfect position to stop anybody coming there through checkers. Smokes out, and honestly, it's not looking so good for IGI. They've been rumbled, bombs down. Shouldn't have a lot of time to rotate people in and a lot of presence on that site, and it looks like it is going to mostly be down to Atto here, as Skux is a little bit trapped, but he's doing his job perfectly. Even as Skux gets dropped, Atto's managed to take it into a 1 versus 1, and with a minute left on the clock, it's not impossible.
Unfortunately, Maris has actually got the bomb right in front of him. So he can just stay back and wait for Atto to just come at him.
This is where it's going to all come down to who is the better shot. Nothing really, you know, no external factors here, no team play element, just sort of one-on-one. Someone's going to hit it, someone's not, and actually maybe it is going to be tactical in the end. Atto managing to pick up that bomb. But again, a little bit too confident. Deciding to run away. Myra's just going to finish him off nicely. That's going to be the first round to Function, which honestly, not what I was expecting straight off the bat. Sort of looked promising from Atto towards the end of that round, but still nothing set in stone. So everything to play for on Function. Thankfully, not going to be going for all M4s. Not going to be having anything really too valuable to lose this round. Mostly SMGs. Trying to rack up that economy.
But IGI have force bought with Tech 9 and armor, and now it's just going to be a full-on B rush. YTF getting the first kill, but IGI bring it back into a 4v2. You just see Maris up in heaven, just waiting for his team to come in.
Problem is, Function are going to have to mount a hell of a retake here, and it's not looking good for them. Joe hits the first. Myers and Connor both coming in from the same direction, both trying to play it together, and Myers is going to hit the first shot, but now their positions are known. The rest of IGI just have to sit back, wait for them to push, and hold really passive angles, yeah, and it's going to be a little bit too much for Function to take on. They're going to decide it might not be in their best interest to lose any guns, especially with the amount of time left on the clock, and they are just going to be running away to the A site. Obviously, IGI probably not going to hunt them either because neither economy established yet, but still, a valuable round to pick up for the terrorist side.
Yeah, that leaves the CT side very bad for economy, but they're going to force buy into it. Mara's sticking with that M4. lad.
That is sort of the meta at the moment, isn't it? Just fly up, you know, as many times as you can until someone's won 2 rounds. Force buy until somebody's established sort of 2 rounds in a row. That's when you start slowing down. So they are going to be getting into this one something, but again, they're not looking too good because Myra's the man with the M4. Dropped almost instantly there by John Hyant. That's a bit of a slap in the face.
Yep. Got to be demoralizing for Function. Just the boost worked really well. It kind of just caught Myers off guard.
Indeed. Something really you should be expecting if you're playing mid on Cash. I'm guessing he just wasn't looking the right direction.
No.
Sort of more of a timing issue than anything, and
yeah,
it is very unfortunate because it's going to give IGI a good chance into this round for sure.
They also threw like the G2 mid smokes, and that normally doesn't happen. Like, you normally don't go up boost, but Leluc getting 2 kills, bringing it back to a 3v2. Bomb going down. Zacti now picks up the M4. Will he save? No. They're actually gonna try and go for this.
I mean, at this point, I think realizing that a save's not necessarily the smartest option, they might want to just be going for it, because otherwise, well, either way, they're going to sort of have to eco next round, so they will try. Unfortunately, no success for their side, and it is going to just be a full eco if they're smart. I mean, we might see maybe a couple of P250s coming out, but that'd be about it.
Yep. I think we've got some lag issues.
Just going to have to wait for a player to sort that out, not quite sure who.
I think it's sorted now.
Well, the match is live, so I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Be a little bit awkward if not. And yeah, this round really should just be a clean up for IGI. Not really expecting to see too much from the Function side. I mean, Connor and Myers, if they're playing sort of intelligent positions, they're playing somewhere up close and they hit lucky headshot, then that's definitely possible. Myers actually just going to be on the pure aggression this round. Gets flashed in by a teammate, finds himself a kill, and actually that should be... I was going to say it should be a rifle because there were 3 on the board. Instead, he only finds himself with a MAC-10, and against players with full armor, that's not particularly helpful. Going to elect to keep using that P250, and he's going to find his second, though. I don't know what IGI are doing, but they are feeding these players up.
But we see that actually Joe's pushed really up in mid. Actually just playing in heaven. Looks like it's going to be a B take. But now Function are actually rotating people in. But only one person actually on site. Everyone else is in heaven.
Does he get checked or does he have the chance to do something? Unfortunately, the man on site is going to get taken out. Zacti manages to find one more for himself, and with the UMP on Myres and the MAC-10 on Connor G, this retake's not looking impossible. I mean, I wouldn't give it to them, but they might be able to find at least 1 or 2 more kills if they wait for exits, or even really if they manage to get up close. Unfortunately, though, not going to be the case. Atto and Skux just shutting everybody down in those last few moments, giving themselves a nice shot into this round, and they are, for the first time, going to be facing off against a full buy on both sides.
Yep. Ability not too good on the CT side. You've got 3 smokes, a couple of flashes, 1 HE, and 2 diffuses. Mario's going for the glass cannon. So we'll see how that fares for him.
I mean, honestly, glass cannon, not necessarily a bad idea, just one of those things where you have to have that confidence in AWP. You have to know you can hit the first shot, because a lot of times if you don't, you're not going to get the chance of the second. I think that might be lending a bit more towards why he's playing a very passive position over on the A site, instead of holding mid, choosing to hold highway, so he can just pick people off as they go past. The problem with that, though, is it leaves B very exposed. If IGI wanted to set up a B split here, they would be in good position to do so.
Yeah. As long as they smoke off the right places, smoke off highway, the B split is a very real opportunity.
I mean, honestly, they might be figuring this out soon, leaving the bomb more towards spawn and leaving themselves with a lot of options. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to pick the wrong one, heading more players towards that A site. They know to check that spot near boost now, because there was a man there last time, and again, it's going to be Leluc. This time, not a successful boost for him. This is where it gets scary. IGI having to hit all of their nades out. Gonna be having to dodge some bullets soon, as well as Connor G is in the perfect position to find the spray down. So unfortunate for him, he's just not quite able to take anybody out, and it's just gonna be the frags piling up for IGI at this point. Even having Tazarini there, just ready to find the rotate. No chance for function, and you've got to ask, what can they do? They had 3 people on the site that time. I think potentially Leluc just playing a bit of an awkward position. They'd already, you know, it's one of those ones where it's sort of a one and done. Or rather, you've played it once in the half so far. You maybe want to give it a rest. And
yeah,
that close together, I don't know. It just gave IGI far too much of an advantage early in the round.
Seems though Atto's actually got a problem with his internet. So that's why we're paused. IGI actually want to bring in a sub.
I can see that.
Yeah.
If your player's on 60% choke, they're not going to be too much help.
No.
Luckily, thanks to the servers provided, that is actually a possibility. So hopefully going to have things underway again.
Yep. And
shortly.
Atto's just going to drop his AK for the next person to actually get whoever that may be.
And that can be useful. I'm not sure what the situation is with economy on this team, if they can mend it or not, but if they can't, that will be a very useful thing to have.
Yeah.
Just an extra gun waiting there for him. By the way, if you're Function after seeing the first gun round, Viper, how would you position yourself to sort of try and come back into this a little bit? Because it's not been that long and they're not out of it just yet, but IGI have won 4 in a row.
Yeah, like IGI quite do like to try and get mid really early on. They'll maybe boost Joe, or they'll use smokes to block off Z and Highway. We haven't seen a Highway smoke yet, but I'd probably play 2 in mid. Have Myers with the AWP, let him save, get the AWP onto him, and then have someone else backing him up, maybe underneath boost. Just so that if Myers gets picked off, someone else can just pop out, get the kill, and that's going to be the AWP down for IGI. But we're getting into it now, as Jaden, who I believe is actually the coach for IGI, comes in.
Hopefully going to be able to start putting some numbers up, because I know Atto has been doing a lot for this team.
Yep.
Had some nice numbers beforehand, so it's potentially going to be a bit of a dampener, but if he can, you know, if he can finish how he started, if he can keep hitting headshots like that, rather, maybe not too much of a concern, and this round at least looking like it's going to be very comfortably theirs.
Yep. And the defense is split, so whichever way they go is probably going to be a very easy side to take.
I mean, 5 against 1, I can't see that working out in favour of the 1.
No.
And at this point, they should be expecting Luke to be playing those tricky angles on A site. He's
Yeah.
done it multiple rounds in a row. It just depends if they're going to check this particular one. And unfortunately, not body is going to be dropped, but luckily it wasn't anything too expensive. Just, you know, standard buy, AK, whatever. Their economy can take it.
And that's just going to be the round. And I think, yep, we will be seeing the buy coming out from Function GG.
Again, though, really not left themselves too many options, sorry, in the way of this buy. You can see, like, fairly good utility across the board, but still, no armor on Myres. Apparently, it doesn't matter. Gonna take a shot through the smoke and find Tazarini for the trouble, and honestly, if he can stop them going mid, he's done his job, and at the moment, they don't look to be probing it too hard.
No, Joe just sitting back on boost, hoping to just catch one player off guard who's just peeking a bit too much, a bit too wide, and just try and get a kill. But Leluc gets a kill onto Waddy.
Honestly, that's what I like to see. They've adapted their style up, but they've changed their style up, even if it's not an adaptation, so that IGI can't just run the same thing over and over. They don't just get that sort of sit back in the seat, do what you've been doing the past 2 rounds and everything will work out fine mentality. They have to keep actively thinking about, okay, what could Function be doing at this point? Because that push, something we've not seen before, a little bit unprecedented, a little bit scary for IGI, and honestly, might make them think twice about how they're playing the A site.
Yeah.
Either way, though, they are looking to continue their attack on it, which I don't know if I'd say that's a smart idea at this point.
No.
It's going to be 3 versus 2, but obviously you've got that fast rotate in from mid.
That flash.
They don't have too much utility to work with either. I mean, Molly's going out, but once those have dissipated, they have next to nothing, and Luke's just going to be sitting on high, spraying away, finding 1, 2, not quite 3. But
Almost
still,
getting the 3rd.
a very good round indeed for Function.
And they pick up the AWP that Joe dropped, so I wonder if Leluc's going to stay on the A site playing the AWP, or whether he'll go B. Going to put 3 people on A.
Double up. I assume Myers is going to head mid with that, and then Luke's going to play, from quad. Fair enough. I was thinking they might be going for something a bit unorthodox instead, just going for something people have probably seen before, but still an effective setup, still something that can pose a lot of trouble for this T side. And I mean, I can see why Function need to be getting into this game at this point. IGI have already won 5 on cash. What 6, 7 is sort of the max you want the T's to be getting.
Yeah.
And with it this close, they need to just string together as many rounds as is humanly possible.
We see actually 4 players towards the A site. I don't think it would be a good idea for them to go for that A site again. They've just been shut down pretty much on most of these rounds.
Well, the thing is, to me, that all really depends on how they play it, but that's not going to help.
No.
Go instantly taken out.
But Waddy?
Fortunately, Waddy able to get one back. Not being so loud this game up until this point, but if he turns on now, then this could still be interesting. They are going to find the site. Connor getting in there to stop the plant from going down, though, but
The bomb was still back in A main.
no problem for IGI, though, as they will just refrag, find one more, take the site. You know, whatever. They've got themselves completely sorted at this point, and I can't see Function finding too much on the retake.
No. As is playing forklift in the cubby, but he gets taken down by Zacti. Ducks. Headshot, and YTF walking in, and Jadam gets the headshot, and will pick up the AWP for Joe. That gets dropped across, and
That's a disaster.
yep, and we see a little bit of a force spike coming in.
I mean, that's about as bad as it could have gone for Function, though. They win 1 round before being shut back down, and that's going to mean that they are stuck on pistols at least this round.
Yep,
Probably not the next round. They have a
quick
bit of
aggression, and Konergy and Myres taking down Waddy and Tazarini, leaving IGI in a 3 versus 5.
problem.
Unfortunately, they do only have pistols, but where Konergy is, if that hasn't been called, then that's a very advantageous position.
And the thing is, they've assumed IGI are going to be heading with heavy focus towards the B site towards the end of this round now. I mean, you can see they positioned 3 of their players there. They don't really think they're still going to be invested in A. And actually, IGI was staying around there a bit longer. I thought they might be going for it, but it seems that Function had the correct read on that. IGI now looking for other channels to push, and if they can find something long range, they should still be in good stead. I mean, most of the players without armor, obviously 3 out of 5. If they can find any sort of long range engagement with the rifles, this should still be their round.
Unfortunately, there are 3 on B, and Joe gets YTF. drop down.
What you got to ask now, though, is will they be expecting the man in the corner? Unfortunately, Skux right there being very thorough with that AK, trying to find everybody they can, and even as Exacti finds that shot, IGI just looking like this round should be theirs, especially with that double spray down.
And now just Connor G left on 7 HP and gets burned by Joe's fire. Bad luck, dude.
This is getting slightly painful to watch now, you know?
Yep, it seems like IGI have just taken their form from the last game and just kept it running.
I mean, yeah, a little bit closer already because Function have got 2 rounds, but with 7 on their T side, IGI are looking to close this one out fast.
Yep.
And it looks like the trend may be about to continue. Function once again just on pistols. They might be able to get some more kills, but I don't see them taking the round, especially with a start like that. The Luke gives himself up and YTF to follow. This is... yeah, it feels like it's going to be quick and painless for IGI, but a little bit painful for Function.
Ooh. Although, Connor gets 1 kill, but Joe takes Myers down. And now we're just left with Zacti and Connor G. Connor G has actually recovered an AK. So he might try and save this. But no, he'll go pushing. Jaden gets the kill. And now the bomb will be planted on A site. Zacti left in a 1 versus 4.
Actually going to find the first. 3 more to take if he wants to go for this defuse. And I think he's just crazy enough to do it. Still hanging around, but no. Eventually going to decide it is not in his best interest. I think the nade making the decision for him in the end. Going to grab an AK and head on out.
I think that's pretty much a smart move, to be honest. Because if you look at the economy, it's not going to be great for next round, but they might try and eke out maybe a FAMAS on Connor. Or maybe Zacti will drop the AK
I was gonna say at this point Zacti can drop one of his teammates and Connor is probably in need of it, so...
yeah. But IGI's economy just going to get boosted that little bit more. And now Zacti might... will actually give that across to someone else. It's not going to be Connor. They're going... ooh.
I think Connor's still being dropped in the end. Zacti just wanting to hold on to that AK.
Yeah.
Going to be fairly well planned economically, at least. They're now all sitting about the same. All have a fairly strong buy going out. I mean, you can see here, nades looking good. Defuse kits on 4 of them. If they can find any sort of early damage, they should be in much better shape than we've seen them before, and that's going to happen. Nade goes in. So much done already, and if IGI don't find this B site quickly, we could see problems, of course. They're going to find it quickly. How else would IGI find it? Just jump in. Take the site, even with 2 players down. If their after plants are solid, I can still see them with a chance in at this round.
Yep, but I don't know whether they'll be expecting Connor around the back. But I think Jaden's actually heard him. So I don't think Connor will actually spot out this corner.
Depends how Function decides to go for it. Actually playing this very intelligently indeed, going in pairs, making sure they can't get caught out 1 by 1, and Joe, the last man left, actually whiffing a couple of shots. Uncharacteristic for him, but going to be exactly what Function need to pull them through. Now they've got this 3rd round, they need a 4th. They can't just win another one. They need to string some together, otherwise they're going to be right back where they were 2 rounds ago.
Unfortunately, I actually think Jaden flashed Joe, which allowed one of the Function players, can't remember which one, to actually just get the kill onto Jaden, and Joe can actually get the refrag. And Waddy gets the first kill onto Connor, getting a little bit aggressive here. Has worked in previous rounds, but won't work this time. It's going to be an A execute. All 5 players up on the A site.
Thing is, once again, Function, I think, sort of reading into it a little bit. They know that there's heavy presence there, and they're going to have the people there to back it up. Leluc, already in main, finds himself, I think, 3 that round.
Yeah.
Just Myra's and Exacti chipping in a little bit. Beautiful play from them to take the 4th. They hold on to an AWP, they hold on to some rifles, and they're going to be able to buy up this round as well. So, exactly what they needed to get themselves back on track. And to their merit, you can see how close they've made it with IGI, because 2 rounds after, they are on low money.
Yeah, Leluc, I believe they pop flashed to try and get onto the A site, but Leluc went through the smoke into A main, and that caught Joe off guard, and that dropped the bomb, and then the Leluc was just allowed to get another 2 kills, and that was the round pretty much to function. This will pretty much just be clean up. But
I'm a little bit disappointed not to see them get more out of this round. Waddy going to be in with 1, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long. They had a smoke. They had a lot of guys on pistols. I was expecting to see just sort of an early smoke off, find themselves an isolated player or two on the site, and just spam them with Tech 9 so they can find at least 2 players out of it and try and take that economic damage, but not going to be the case.
No. Myra's the only one to go down, and the AWP is still recovered by Zacti. And now we'll see the buy coming in from IGI eSports. All AKs, I believe. Yeah. Waddy gets the AK. Bit of utility. Taz and Waddy with full utility. And it's going to be the early boost. Molotov just missing. So
that is an issue.
Yep.
The thing is, Skux is just going to sit back, allow them to think it's clear for the moment, even maybe allow them to think the Molotov popped if they didn't check. Still going to be a threat into the later parts of this round, but I'll tell you who's not going to be a threat, and that's Joe. Peeking so wide. I think just trying to shoulder check it and maybe not hitting the counter strafe right when he wanted to, lose his life as a result. That's not a way you want to start a round.
No. And IGI's default is pretty much just a guy on boost, 1 in mid, and then 2 towards the A side. They're not favouring B at the moment. Skux gets the first kill onto Myres for IGI. Brings it back to a 4v4. And they're just... Now they're going to get the mid control in. And Waddy gets the kill, and now it's going to be the B-site attack.
As Exacti is in the perfect position to shut them down on that vent push. Wins 1, can't take the second. Jadam is just going to get in right away on the refrag, and it's all on the Luke, and he has an AWP, so that's not what you want for the retake. Skux already behind him. No chance whatsoever. What I like to see that round actually was IGI taking a little bit of the mid control, because so far we've not seen that be really too much of a necessity to their play. Most of it's just been straight A takes or straight B takes through conventional routes. If they can start putting more focus on mid at like this late in the half, well, it's round 15 now, so it won't do anything past this, but it could really throw function off and just give them that little bit more of a chance of finishing this half out 10-5, which would be insane.
Yeah. And if IGI get the 10th round and the pistol, it's going to be 13-5 before they get a gun round. And if they lose that, and if they lose gun round, they're pretty much screwed.
And that's the scary thing. IGI are in such a dominant position at the moment. Function, I think, really need to find this round more than anything. Just, give them a little bit of wiggle room, because as you said, it'd be 13, and at that point, one bad round, one round with bad economy, and you're almost gone.
Yeah. And just waiting for, I believe it's the Luke doing something. So we're getting a beautiful bit of juggling from IGI.
Any idea what this pause is for?
I think the Luke had to do something, but I'm not sure what.
Brilliant.
The Luke just put in chat "BRB sorry," and just kind of left. So
hopefully not going to be too long a break.
No.
Oh dear. And on the last round of the half, that's a little bit BM.
Yeah. I think Leluc will probably get an AWP. Maybe drop that over to Myrez, because Myrez has been hitting his shots really well for Function.
I mean, the thing is, the Function team, there's no real distinct favourite at the moment, though. I mean, Myrez and Leluc stand out a little bit above the rest, but exactly going to be in there with almost the same amount. YTF not too far off him, and Connor trailing a little bit on 5. I think IGI's frags are a lot more focused at one end of the scoreboard, and
Yeah,
that's a good thing and a bad thing. I'm not sure if it's because the others aren't quite switched on today yet, because maybe, you know, the easy game maybe plays into that a little bit, but it could be detrimental on CT side if they're not all hitting shots.
Yeah, because on Cobbled they only really had 1 round on CT. No, 2. Yeah, 2. That isn't my strong suit. Because it was 16-1.
There's an easy rule to that one. You never do maths on stream.
Yep.
It's sod's law in it. As soon as you do maths on stream when people are watching, you are going to get it wrong. And you are going to get it horribly wrong.
Yep. So, tip for the day, never do maths on stream. And
they never do maths.
yeah. Luke's back. Oh, Misty, nice little shout out to Crisp servers for providing the servers for this tournament.
I've heard there's some pretty crisp servers as well, so.
Hey.
I know. I'll be here all week.
Yeah.
Oh, Leluc's back. I was about to say maybe we should chuck it some music or something, but Leluc is back, so.
And he's dropped AWPs over to both Connor and Myrez. So.
I'm not sure how intelligent that was. I mean, Connor not really been doing too much this game so far. He's sitting 5 and 10. I'm not sure I'd want him to be the man with the AWP unless he said he feels more confident on that. And the Luke's feeling, you know what, I've done a bit with the M4 already. That's going to be fine. It's a big investment.
Yeah. And we'll now be getting into the 15th round. Yeah, going into the default, but already the mid push.
Function is switching things up heavy here.
Yeah.
2 in mid from the start. Myra's unfortunately going to be whiffing those shots, but Leluc, I think, managed to get there unknown. I don't think IGI realised that he's down that far, so if Myra's wants to rotate over towards A, that could give them a huge advantage if IGI want to do anything in mid and sort of, you know, just don't even consider Luke could be playing there.
Yeah. Ooh, that nade onto Jadam. Down to half health. He's just going to creep back. And I don't actually think they know Leluc's underneath boost. They haven't touched it, so.
I think the AWP enough of an indicator, but I mean the bomb making its way over towards B. 2 players still now. You might assume from that sort of positioning on the map that it could be a split at some point if these guys come through for the split after they've thrown their smokes, but still. IGI just keeping everything very fluid indeed. Bomb not really established too far in any direction, and unfortunately for them, it seems to be to their detriment right now, as they're going to be losing players across the board. Yep. Finally find the trades, and I think just by necessity more than anything now, it is going to be over towards B. Nothing coming of that mid-aggression from the CTs, and again, looking like around it's going to be hard for them to pull back.
But Connor will now switch out to an M4 and picks up a kit. So this might actually make it possible. But they're just staying back on a... Oh, spot Skux. We'll get blinded, and that will probably be the round.
Still going to be trying for it. Looks for the first. Not even going to get that as Waddy takes him out. 10-5 at half-time to IGI. How in the world are Function going to come back from that on the less favoured side of the map?
It's going to be hard. But
I mean, if they lose this pistol, I'm getting ready to call it IGI's map.
Yeah. It will be hard for Function the key is to get the pistol. If they can get the pistol and build up some economy, then it's going to be a close one. Definitely. And we're now going into second half.
And this is where things get important. This round essentially determining how the rest of the game goes. If Function win it, we could see a little bit of a resurgence, a little bit of a longer game. If IGI win it, then unfortunately, in my opinion, it's going to be curtains fairly soon. So, again, one of the most important rounds in the game, and it does look like Function are going to be taking a little bit of an unorthodox approach to this one. 3 men on boost right now. Waddy's there, but when presented with 3 targets, is he going to seize the opportunity or is he going to fall flat? Because I know I would be scared if I were him.
And they're just going to be pushing straight into mid.
The problem is, the guys from IGI have got in behind them, surrounded on all sides. Function players really unable to do anything but have their players on A keep up the push because IGI have dominated that mid area and are just going to be leaving Connor alive. That's a bit of a disaster. He's going to get the plant, but now with 3 targets to face, it's not going to be an easy one for him. Finds the first, that's Waddy down. Joe and Tazarini left, and he is in a relatively strong position. Actually taking the second, turn around for the third, but not going to be hit. Joe finally managing to land a shot into his head, takes him out of the equation, and I think, yep, definitely has the time to defuse.
Yep. That was very well played from Connor, getting 3 kills that round.
I mean, honestly, it looked for a second there like he could have got the 4th. So maybe a bit of a close call for IGI, but they have the rounds to play with. It wouldn't have mattered too much to them. For Function, that's going to mean everything. And I think you can see that they got the plant. They're just going to be going straight for, for the straight save, get AKs out 3rd round, try and stop IGI racking up quite as many as we might have thought.
Unfortunately, that flash not working out. But Zach getting a headshot.
I mean, this round not so much about winning as it is just about getting some more money to put into that 3rd round buy. They've got the bomb down. That is mission accomplished. At this point, though, they could do better. You can see their Waddy's still very low, as was Taz. And unfortunately, I was going to say they'd be in with a chance at maybe another kill. Maybe even win the round when they were all alive. They don't find anything more.
But someone's got to defuse that bomb, guys. And it's going to be 12-5 to IGI as we're going to get into the first gun round. So,
and this should actually be an interesting one because 2 of IGI managed to die that round. I think one of them at least, maybe if not both of them, had rifles in their hands. So they are going to be a little bit wanting for economy this round. They are going to be able to shuffle things about, find some guns. Far from an ideal buy though.
Yeah, and Connor on Function has actually picked up the AWP. So, and Scope's just going to get pop flashed in, takes 1 down, and takes Connor down in the smoke.
Looking for that 3rd as well, gets flashed off, can't quite find it onto Exacti, but doesn't really lose too much himself. 2 frags for 65 HP. Not a bad trade, and that's going to leave Function more scared than they were before. If they lose this round, their economy is going to be, again, just almost trashed, so a lot of pressure for these 3 guys to perform.
And it was actually the AWP dropped. So that's going to be very bad as Taz just going to hold this close angle. And it's going to be the mid smokes. And Waddy. No, Taz will be the man trying to take this, but he gets taken down.
Thing is, Waddy's still in a position to find them as they go through vents, and he will be picking up the first. Not sure if he knows the other man's there, and I think, in fact, not going to be aware of that as he does fall off the angle, but still a lot done as it's now going to be a 4 versus 2 retake if they can even find the site, which is looking less and less likely by the second. Skark's going to finish things off, jumps in, takes down YTF. That's painful, and I mean, realistically, it should lead to another save for the Function GG side. IGI are going to be on 14 rounds before they can really do too much.
Yeah. They're just going to eco some P250. Oh, P250's picked up. And I think it's going to be just a straight A rush.
Interesting to see how this goes out for Skux. Jumps in, finds 1, gets dropped actually by Exacti, so that's not really a favourable trade. Luckily, Jadam there to bail him out a little bit. in the end, just going to be 3 men on P250s versus the 4 of IGI, all sitting there on the rifles quite comfortably. It should be a clean-up from this point if they play it smart.
Unfortunately, Morris actually takes down Jedem. And now we're getting into possibly the last gun round of this game. And still no AWPs on IGI. Joe had the money to upgrade, but decided not to. Maybe just for the economy.
I mean, fortunately for Function, if they lose this round, they are going to be on, I think, max loss bonus. I'm not sure if that kicks in at 4 or 5. I'm a little bit stupid, but I think they should be on that. So probably going to be able to get a buy-in on match point if it comes to it.
Yeah,
Still, I think going to be trying to stave it off.
But they'll have 3,400 for the round loss. Because if they lose it, it'll be their 5th round in a row that they've lost. So they'll be able to get out a bit of a buy, but it won't be a very good one if they lose.
Thing is, let's stop talking about how they're going to do if they lose and start seeing if there is even a chance they're going to win. And Myra is going to be the first one to determine that. Actually takes the first frag out of IGI's hands. Only 1 button left on the B site to contend with if they act fast. And we're going to have a bit of server lag.
Yep.
At least on the GoTV side, nothing too bad. We're going to be getting right back into the action. Joe and Jadam, and Joe again in with 3 frags in a row. Still very favourable for the CTs as Connor goes down as well, and it's all up to Lelouch. Horrible to see. He's managed to get so far in towards that CT spawn area, but he now has 2 to contend with if he wants any chance of getting this bomb planted. He'll have the chance at the first, but no gun in his hand. And he's going to be very aware there's a second guy looking for him. Crossfire held perfectly by IGI to take them to match point. That's got to be a little bit depressing if you Function.
Yeah. And their buy isn't the greatest. 4 AKs and a Tech 9 on YTF.
Thing like a few months ago, well, actually more months than I'd like to admit ago, when the Tech 9 was still viable, or still, you know, one of the better guns in the game, that'd be a much stronger buy. But yeah, YTF going to get taken down almost immediately. Yep. Pistol's not doing quite as much as they used to. The rest of his team, I think, going to be left a little bit out in the cold now, because if I'm correct, he had a couple of nades on him that could have been quite useful.
Yeah, he had full nades. He had a smoke, 2 flashes, and a HE. Zacti takes down Skux, and IGI in a 3 versus 4. And the mid smoke's coming out from Connor. Aiden gets Zacti.
See there, Lelouch trying to get something more towards the A site, but they might be forced to abandon. Smoke already thrown. Players going the opposite direction because they do not want to run into that brick wall of Jadam at this point. Instead, going to meet the brick wall of Wadi. And unfortunately, that is the game for IGI. Bad luck to Function. They're now out of the tournament. I thought that was going to be a lot closer, personally.
Yeah.
I thought the 2 teams were a lot more evenly matched, but IGI obviously just stepped up their game.
Yeah, they did. It was as Function just got, like, as they were just getting ecoed, once IGI got the pistol, it was gonna be a hard game, and they were just trading rounds, which in the early game they traded rounds which more were for IGI. And from there, it just tailed off. Seeing one of the better teams in this tournament go out in Function kind of hurts. But sometimes that's just the way of Counter-Strike.
Either way, I think we are going to go to a short now and come back when we have another match to stream. So stick around. Hopefully it won't be as long as the last one. And it should be either another game from IGI, but hopefully we'll be jumping into the other one. Or one without them, because we need to cover 2 with them. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah.